जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Punjab Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो।
Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher, and yes, Punjab is inching closer to victory, but it's a Saturday, it's a double header, and also it's Kolkata playing next, and we have Mr. Joy Bhattacharjya in the house. So he said we have to get on with the show right away, which is why we are here early, because I have Joyda and Simon with me. We just couldn't hold Joyda back. How excited are you, Joyda? First match for Kolkata.
If I'm excited like here, I'm just wondering, we just did a volleyball league where we put all the coaches, we put a heart rate monitor on them just to see how they were going.
It's a great idea.
I'd love to put a heart rate monitor in Gautam Gambhir. I would just love to see how that goes, because, I mean, he will be like more involved than anybody on that pitch today. But it's going to be an amazing day. His comeback, I think, is a huge story. And I think this is going to be a historic match for Kolkata.
Well, talking about his comeback, someone's back has been in the news a lot, because Shreyas is back and the team is riding on his back. But is his back strong enough is something which we will find out very soon, Simon.
Yeah, look, nice to have him back. Such a talent. Hasn't always lived up to some of the expectation, but there's no denying the talent and the ability of Shreyas Iyer. Going back to 2022, you look at those numbers: strike rate 134, average 30, just to tick over 400 runs. He's a sort of player that, coming in at 3-4 in an innings, you want to get a 500-run season out of. He is good enough to produce that sort of number. Your opening batters, your 1, 2, 3 are the only ones really with an opportunity to get 600-700 runs. But he's a sort of player that should be producing a 500-run season, and if he does that, then Kolkata go a long way to getting towards that sort of top 4, top 5 in the tournament. But he's going to have to do that and lead very well, having been given the captaincy back this year as well.
Well, Joyda, he's spoken there about his back, and he says he's feeling fit. Chandrakant Pandit said the same thing. He's looking very good in the nets. So he's rested well, even in the domestic season. The last 2-3 games he did well. So he's coming in with confidence.
He's coming in with confidence, and I think the other thing is that given the kind of attack they have, Kolkata would want to create pitches that resist spin, because somebody like Stark is more in the air. He doesn't need too much of the pitch. So then you have a situation where it becomes crucial, because Shreyas is an excellent player of spin. Perhaps he's one of the finest players of spin, and one of the other really good players of spin in this country is actually Nitish Rana. So you begin to see what this is going back to the Kolkata of 2012, 2014. If they can get the pitches they want, spinning tracks, slight bit of dryness on the surface, bowlers get a bit, really skilled players of spin doing well, that's the kind of game Kolkata would want to drag them into. And in the last few years, I mean, Kolkata has not really done well at the Eden Gardens. So that's something, if they can change that and it can get the kind of pitches they want, play the kind of games they want to play, and enmesh other teams into their web, I think they'll get somewhere.
Well, Sunrisers have won the toss and they are going to be fielding first. We'll have a look at the playing 11, because with Sunrisers Hyderabad, it's not about who's playing, it's about who's out, Simon, because their overseas players, a long list. Surprise there for you? There's no Glenn Phillips.
Well, I guess the situation was, who do they play in the middle order? Do they need Travis Head at the top? No, because they've got Mayank Agarwal, Tripathi. They're bowling first, so they will bring Abhishek Sharma in to open the batting, I would imagine, with Mayank. So this is their bowling lineup, remember? So Abhishek would probably come in at the top of the order. That's why it sort of looks like they might be one short there at the moment, but they're not. The overseas talent, though, Markram, Klaassen through the middle, Cummins and Marco Jansen. Probably a combination was around, do they play Jansen, do they play Hasaranga, do they play Head, do they play Phillips? There's so many options for them, and they've gone this way tonight. Now, I think Marco Jansen's a terrific cricketer. They obviously have to play the skipper now, and Cummins. The question was going to be around Phillips or Markram. Glenn Phillips has been bowling very well. Got a test match 5 for just recently with his off spin. So they offer very similar skill sets. Phillips probably slightly quicker in the field, but Markram's got terrific hands as well. And I think he gives Cummins some real backup as captaincy skills as well as leadership.
Well, Joyda, with KKR, it's very easy to pick their overseas for, isn't it? Because it's not as difficult as
First you write down those two names.
You just write those two names in the middle.
For the last 10 years, you first write their names. And I think, forget overseas. In this team for the last 10 years, you first write down those two names, then the rest of the names follow, But the rest of it, as I said, interesting lineup. I think it's very important is 14 opening combinations last year. If Venkatesh Iyer and Phil Salt can start giving them starts, then this will be a very difficult, in the last 2 seasons, 14 combinations. So they just have to get their opening combination set. We were discussing this in the preview, and it was Gurbaz versus Phil Salt. But if you look at international pedigree, and Gurbaz is a very good player, but Phil Salt is the second highest rated T20 batsman in the world right now. If he's walking into your camp, thankfully, because Jason Roy has walked out, it's an opportunity, and I think KKR should grab it with both hands, give these people a run on the top, and then see what happens.
But Simon, even with Shreyas coming back, that middle order seems even more solid with Rinku, Nitish and then Shreyas. So they've got a really good mix if their openers get going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If their openers do get going, depending on the surface they're playing on, I mean, if GG can't get the right sort of surface in Kolkata, then nobody can get anything. I mean, that's one situation. If they want a certain type of pitch to play on, if he can't organise that, then there is something wrong, in my opinion. So, they will hopefully get the type of surfaces that they feel like they can play their best cricket on. They've got good players of spin, they've got good spinners. If that's the way they want to go, then I expect that that's the way the surface will play. It's a strong looking middle order, but any team needs a foundation. And when you've got uncertainty at the top of the order, it's always an issue. And Joy just mentioned it, 14 opening combinations in the last 2 seasons. That's far too many. There's no certainty around who's opening the batting. There's no time to get that combination flowing. That has been a massive issue for Kolkata in the last 2 editions. When you look at those numbers, average-wise and run rate, 6.3 and 8.9, not good enough average-wise for an opening combination. Just 2 50 partnerships and 1 in 2022. So 3 50 opening stands in the last 2 seasons. That is awful. You cannot win titles. You cannot even think to compete when you're only doing that with your opening batters, especially when that predominantly is the best time to bat in Indian conditions. So rectify that. I think Phil Salt's a terrific player. Great team man, and he's a good addition to the side. If Iyer can find some form, and he hasn't been in great form either, has he, through the domestic season, so he needs to find something as well. But if they can do that, that middle order can really flourish. And, I've got to say a little thing about Andre Russell. I know he's getting to the twilight years of his career, but I watched him in a recent tournament in Dubai, as well as the T10. He's training harder than I've seen him train. He's actually putting in with the ball, which is something I really love. When Andre Russell's putting in with the ball, his batting seems to be firing as well, and just seems to complement both formats of the game. He still wants every single bit of energy out of his body that he can get at the moment, and he still wants to win. So that's all I want to see. No matter how old you are, if you still want it enough and you're willing to put the hard work in, and he definitely puts the hard work in, that's all you can ask.
Well, Joyda, the batting looks pretty solid on paper right now for KKR if the openers get going, but they've got a certain Cummins waiting for them who's gotten a lot of money, and now with the even the weight of captaincy on him. One is, we were discussing this just now in the green room, is that because he's made captain, he has to be in the playing 11. But Cummins is coming in very relaxed. He's somebody who's very good as a captain with his test cricket. So what can we expect from Cummins?
First and foremost, when Cummins and Stark meet the night before the match for a drink, nobody's going to worry about what the tab is. Given that between the two of them, they've got about 44 crore rupees from the exchequer. So nobody's going to worry about that. No, I think Cummins is in a very good space. And I'll tell you why. Because he has no pressure on him. He's easily one of the great test bowlers, not just of now, but of all time. He's led an Australian side. He's proved his detractors wrong. They said that, you've removed the coach, you've done this, you've done that. With the side that he's had, he's got results in one-day cricket. He's won a World Cup for them. He's won series for them. So he's achieved all he wants to do. For him, this is a bonus. If he does well in the IPL, and that's a good place to be because this is not as his best format. So if he does well here, he's going to play in a very relaxed way. He's not going to take any pressure on himself. And if he does that, look, they have a, forget about the guys, because they have 7 really good players, we're saying, they have a issue with their top players. But any of those top 4 can give you a lot. And that's the point, that if the top 4 foreigners fly, and if Rahul Tripathi and Mayank Agarwal can give something to them, they could be a really, really dangerous squad. Again, none of these IPL squads, any of these IPL squads could upset anyone on one day. And they have enough guns. It's just a question of getting it together in one day.
Well, like I told you all, it is Kolkata versus Hyderabad, and we have Joyda in the house. But we have to hold him back a little bit because we have to tell you all what happened in the last game. Punjab are off to a winning start. They've won by 4 wickets. And Livingston hit a 6 to get those winning runs. Everything seems to have fallen in order for Punjab, Simon.
Yeah, look, a good performance. They were decent with the ball. We thought that it was a pretty good score in the end, courtesy of that Abhishek Porel innings of 32 from 10 deliveries. And Delhi got to a total that they didn't look like they were going to get to for a long time. I think it's a good chase. They continued to be quite aggressive. Obviously, the stumping of Jitesh was a big moment. We talked about it in the combox. I thought those spinners had a role to play in Akshar and Kuldeep through the sort of 11 to 15 over mark. They picked up the wicket, but then Livingston came in, as he does. He's got so much power. He loves facing pace. He's got one of the highest strike rates, I think, at the back end of an innings against pace of anyone in world cricket and T20s. So they've got the sort of side that will upset a lot of teams, I think, with that power. And the one thing about tonight, we talked about earlier with Sam Curran, didn't have a great year last year with bat or ball. He didn't have a good time tonight with just 1 over for 10, but he's done the job with the bat. So those are the all-round abilities that you want to see from him. Not quite getting his team across the line because he got out late in the piece, but he did everything but. So when you're not doing it with the ball, you do it with the bat. And just the ease of no captaincy, ease of not worrying about last year's money, just getting on with the job. I think he's done a terrific effort tonight.
Just a little bit more on Sam Curran, because like Simon's saying, he'll almost be heaving a sigh of relief, because once you perform with the bat, that confidence kind of comes in with the ball. So we probably will see him growing with confidence.
Absolutely. He and Livingston, 38 of 21 for Livingston, just got hit those 2-3 sixes. Livingston has been a star everywhere in the world except India.
Yeah.
And now he really wants this IPL. I think last couple of years, he actually wanted it too hard. Sometimes you want it too hard, you're holding on too hard, and he couldn't get it. If Livingston goes, he's one of the most dangerous players in world cricket. Sam Curran is one of the most versatile players in world cricket. You have a deadly combination. I think the match was decided because once Ishant got injured, they had to bowl the 2 overs from Sumit Kumar. Yeah. And those 2 overs from Sumit Kumar means you didn't have experienced bowlers. So there was a situation, 8 overs for just the 8 overs the spinners bowled, that's Akshar and Kuldeep, just went for 45 runs. So less than 6 and over. And then what happens? They waited. If you see, there's a particular time between 13th and 15th. They're really trying to get off, but they know that they just need to see Akshar and Kuldeep off. Jitesh gets out, but the rest of them, the 2 of them hang on, because they know the next 5, there's Khalil, there's Sumit Kumar, and they're, Mitch Marsh, and they'll take toll there. And that's exactly what happened. So 2 circumstances, Ishant going out, and because Abhishek Porel came in, they couldn't play Mukesh. Those are the 2 turning points of the match.
And also they played Kuldeep and Akshar pretty sensibly. They didn't really go for them and they didn't attack them too much.
Dropped catch as well, wasn't there? A drop catch. Tristan Stubbs dropped Curran. I think he was 30-something, 37, 38, something along those lines. A big drop. Huge drop in the context of the game. And, our learned producer, he said that Tristan Stubbs is one of the best outfielders in the game at the moment. And, even the experts, even the greats get it wrong every now and then, don't they? And, our man behind the scenes will be kicking himself now, I think.
But there were so many cool moments that we saw in the match, because we saw, Rishabh Pant, the comeback story was a really, really cool moment. We saw what Abhishek Porel did. We saw a whole bunch of cool moments. So let's look at the carrier room air conditioner's coolest moment of the match. We've got a compilation of a whole lot of tweets of people who have written in to us. Let's have a look at a few of the tweets and see what you all have written to us, because we have our cool moments ready. But we had a whole lot of people writing in and telling us what they felt. Swayam told us that Pant's cover drive against Harshal Patel was the carrier coolest moment of the match. It was a beautiful, I mean, when I saw it, I just felt like, oh, Pant is back. Yash says Abhishek Pural's bliss as an impact sub, 10 ball 32 was my career coolest moment of the match. We've got some more coming in. Arun says, oh, one more. Pural's cameo walking in at number 9 will be the career coolest moment of the match. Some more coming in. Ashish Jaiswal says, Ishant Sharma's boot run out of Besto, my career coolest moment of the match. Do we agree with any of these, Simon, or do you have anything different?
Well, I like them all. I like them all. We touched on something prior to the game. Jitesh and Rishabh. Rishabh's opportunity for a World Cup, and I don't want to push that whole thing about Rishabh going to the World Cup. It's just great to see him back playing. But when a keeper stumps a keeper, there is no better feeling for a keeper. So I would just go with, obviously, the reverse sweep from Jitesh and Rishabh Pant taking the ball, whipping the bails off. A keeper getting a keeper, there's always just that little tick in the box. So 1-0 to Rishabh over Jitesh so far.
Perfect.
We're keeping score.
Absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what I was trying to look up, because I had two cool moments, one after the other. The first cool moment, second moment was, of course, Jitesh and the stumping. But before that, he had a leg side. He took a leg side. He took it on the leg side and then had a stumping, just missed because the batsman had come in. Down the leg, taking it. Here you are, haven't played international cricket for 400 days.
Yeah.
Taking the ball down leg that easily. And I think it was Sumit Kumar who was bowling. So medium pacer bowling, picking it up down leg and taking off the bails was absolutely, I said, this man is not supposed to, we didn't think he would keep. And this guy is keeping up to a medium pacer and trying leg side stumpings. That was unbelievably cool for me.
Well, it is the return of Rishabh, and both these moments, especially what you said, is very cool. But I have to agree with what I think Yash said, the cover drive, it was just beautiful. It looks so good for me. When it hits the middle of the bat, it's just the most beautiful sight for any cricket fan. So these were our career room air conditioner coolest moments of the match. Keep writing in and telling us for the next match as well. Coming back now, Joyda, I know you're getting off your seat and you're almost feeling like you want to jump off. But what can we expect from, again, Shreyas, the captain? What can we see him coming in, bringing new things, considering he's had this 1 year off? He comes back, he's gone and studied a whole lot of things. What do you think he'll bring in differently with Gautam Gambhir?
Yeah, I think lots to look forward to. I'm really looking forward to, batting-wise, I'm saying Phil Salt up front, because I think if they allow him to play the game that he's used to playing for England, or Lancashire, he's fantastic. Him and Rinku down there, last year, he's been fantastic. But remember, the Rinku last year was a domestic player. This year, Rinku is an international giant, T20 international. Just look at that record. 176 strike rate and average of 89. These are Bradman-esque figures in T20 international cricket. I mean, of course, the sample size is small. It's just 11 matches. But that is sensational. So that's what we expect from Rinku. If Rinku and Salt give them 80% of what they've been given so far, this is going to be a formidable team.
But Simon, a little more on Rinku, that those 5 sixes have gone down in cricketing folklore, because he's somebody who's just grown and grown and grown. He's not someone who's coming out and just whacking. We've seen him where he's kind of built innings when it's required. He's accelerated when it's required. So he's just such an incredible find.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things, I think. Don't pigeonhole this guy as just a hitter. He is a batter. He is a proper cricketer. We saw him when India were in trouble, building an innings, getting 60, 70, 80 not out. These are things that hitters just don't do. He is a seriously, seriously talented batter. He can read a situation. He knows he's got power. He knows, I just think he's got a really cool head. There's a lot of room in that head as well. I think he's got a cool head, keeps calm. He's obviously been through the mill. He's come up the tough way, the hard way. What I like about Rinku Singh, when I read what he does and what he gives back to the game as well, and what he gives back to those who helped him along the way.
Absolutely.
I think that tells me he's quite a settled, nice young man. I think that says a lot about a player, and hopefully it doesn't, hopefully the last 12 months hasn't all gone to his head, and we just see more of what we have been seeing, because when he walks out to bat, not many players make you sit on the edge of your seat. When he walks out to bat, that's kind of how you feel when there's a situation that's required, when his team's in trouble, when you need 30 off 2 overs, things like that. He makes you sit forward and watch the screen because that's the sort of player, and they don't come along very often. So I'm really looking forward to him just continuing what we've seen in the last little while.
Well, sorry, Simon, I think Joyda is going to fall off his seat. Not be at the edge of the seat. He's going to fall off his seat because I have been told that there is a new combination coming in. There's Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt.
What is this?
Let's just give Joyda some 30 seconds to accept
that was
this.
2016 when they started this, and they've had records where they've scored 107 overs and they've just been absolutely outstanding. So this, if it comes off, and I think that's the thing that Gautam wants. He wants Sunil Narayan to go for it because Sunil Narayan at 7 or 8 does nothing for you. So either he whacks it up front and gets it. Sunil Narayan will see the ball, he'll try and hit every ball he can see.
The one thing he doesn't do is waste deliveries. Look, I think his batting's gone downhill enormously in the last year and a half, 2-3 years. I don't think he's anywhere near the player he was with the bat, or confidence-wise. If the short ball's worried him, it's troubled him. But the one thing I will say, and I don't mind it, if it comes off, it comes off. He doesn't waste deliveries. And I think that's the point, Joy, isn't it? You don't want a player going up there getting 4 and flailing it everywhere, 4 off 8 or 9 balls. He's not going to do that. He's either going to hit the first ball for 6 or hit it straight up in the air. So I guess I understand the thinking around it. I'll bide my time on whether I agree with it.
So, well, it's a new combination. I'm going to hand over my crown now to Joyda because we'll humbly find a new winner. You're going to be the new winner. I don't know for how long.
I will not use the words
defending champion.
Dash. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to use those words.
But you go first quickly then because you have a new combination and who knows the team better than you?
I don't know how this pitch is. If Shujan Mukherjee, the curator, has done a decent pitch, I'd say it's a 185 to 190 track. I'll go for 190.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's a belter if
he's going high, isn't he? I'm looking through that batting lineup thinking, look, I like the Sunrisers bowling unit. I'm going to go 168.
That low, wow, that leaves me with a
acres of space.
I've left you a 5-lane motorway.
It's a huge lane, isn't it? I think I'm going to go a little high as well. I'll go with, you are 190, so I'll go with 182. I was going high as well.
All right.
Well, let's see who's getting the crown back because Gaurav Kapoor was the defending champion for 2 rounds. So I need to kind of catch up with my senior. We'll wait and watch. That's all for now. But don't forget to join us at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন